The year is cracking on at a rate of knots, and some of these projects aren't really doing anything, like the SM and the tractor. Tomatoes are paying. I've got some cars which need progress, and I think it needs to be something away from Citroens. I need to just do something to cleanse the palate a little bit, because if you keep doing the same things over and over again, you go mad. So really it comes down to which of the two British cars I work on, the Scottish Hillman Imp or the English TVR Chimaera. Hilda, the Imp, is a car I would really love to be getting involved in. I haven't driven this car since it broke. It broke itself, I didn't break it, at Goodwood last year. I'm itching to drive this thing again. It's so much fun. And I watched a Hubnut video this morning on him driving some kind of MG midget Sprigget thing with a different body on it, and it just looks so much, just looks such a laugh. It was a lovely build and looked so fun, and I thought, oh yeah, and that's along these kind of lines. So I'm really into that, and I need to get the gearbox out and see if I can figure out exactly what's gone wrong at Goodwood, and then fix it, uprate it so it doesn't go wrong again, and then enjoy it. My wife wants me to do the Chimaera, so Chimaera it is. It's all jokes, I love a Chimaera. This is a bit of a busman's holiday because this is like my job, but then it's my car, so yeah. Yeah, basically this is my 1995, I think, TVR Chimaera. It's a baby one, it's only a 4 litre, they call them a 400. Some videos on this car already. I did refer to it as Trevor in those, but I don't really name cars that much, looking at this thing. Most cars I don't, so I probably would just refer to it as the Chimaera or TVR. Of course, TVR is playing on the name Trevor. The man who founded TVR was called Trevor. He took out, for some reason, the first R and the E and the O. No, I've had this car a while. I bought this car in lockdown, the first one. I really haven't actually done anything with it. It was a project car. It's a bit beat around the edges. It's a bit rough. The paint on the bonnet is not great. The paint on the boot is worse. The paint on the door mirrors is, I don't know what's gone on with that. Looks like a riverbed. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not really a show and shine kind of guy, as you probably worked out. So if I can get that shiny and the boot shiny, I'll live with the rest of it. I'm not bothered. I just want it to drive right. And at the moment it doesn't drive, well, I don't know how it drives because it doesn't have any brakes. And some of the previous videos I've done on this car, there was one where I was up on the ramp, had a petrol leak, which it did. I had to change the fuel pump because the old one just rusted. I know, did it rust out? No, I think it was leaking around the plastic cap at the back. There have been other videos I've filmed, and I've done some of it with kind of phone cameras and things, just really showing what I'd been doing up to that point, because there were a number of things that were wrong with this car. To get this thing on the road, there are basically 1, 2, 3, 4 main things stopping it. They are the lack of brakes, which is not ideal. It may only be a baby one, but it still needs brakes. The headlamps are absolutely screwed. The reflector inside is knackered. They need doing. That's a pig of a job. The roof is knackered. There's a big hole in it. That's a pig of a job. And the wipers didn't work, but in the last bit of footage I made, I got them working. So I'm going to splice some of that in now so you can see why the wipers weren't working. Right, yeah, so I wasn't actually filming this because I just sat down to try and play with this before I went home, but I saw an opportunity to try and make a bit of progress on the TVR. And one of the problems I have is that the wipers, which I shall demonstrate to you, the ignition is on, the wipers do not wipe, and this is an MOT failure. So I've disconnected the motor, checked to see if there's any power going to the motor, because I know those motors can be a little temperamental, no power going to it. So I've checked all the fuses are fine,
So I thought, well, what I'll have to do then is check the switch and see if there's any issue with it, maybe bridge the wire in, see if the wipers actually go, and that would eliminate that. So when I've gone to the switch, that's the plug for it. So it's not actually plugged in. The plug appears to have fallen out. So there is a chance that what I have to do is plug it in, which seems very easy. Right, that is now plugged in. Yeah, boy! Oh, that's not gone right. Okay. The easiest fix ever. Plug the switch in. That helps. It's fast speed as well, look. And no triangular doom. Good overlap, as Ian would say. I should really turn them off because they're going to burn the motor out, but I can't stop watching them.
I know, it's as simple as that. I'll take that all day long. So today's job is I want to try and get the pedal box out. The pedal box is a box with pedals in it, and it's located at the end of the footwell where pedals normally are. Am I off camera? No, I don't think so. I've actually started removing some of this. In those previous videos, I'd removed the brake master cylinder and the reservoir.
So now that I've had great success with my wipers, I thought, well, let's have a look at the brakes, naturally. I'm not going to put the interior back together. The cowling is still missing on the steering wheel. But to remove the brake servo, which I think I'm going to have to do, which is buried in there, you're going to have to take the whole steering column out. And that means taking that trim off that I've already taken off to find out that my wiper stalk wasn't plugged in. So I'm going to leave it off. For now, I'm trying to figure out why my brakes stopped working. That servo was fitted in 2015, I think. And I don't know what's failed. That master cylinder was also new. And you can see by the state of it, it's had a lot of brake fluid on it. I think we've made these pipes. They look conifer by the look of it, so I'm guessing we've made those. So I need to know why it failed. If the master cylinder has gone rusty inside, and it's turned the seals inside out, and the brake fluid has leaked out of that and into the servo, then the servo's goosed. Because it ain't supposed to have fluid in it. It's supposed to have air in it. Well, actually, it's supposed to have no air in it. It's supposed to be a vacuum. Just put something away. Yeah, so it's either the master cylinder has failed. Well, I mean, if master cylinder has failed, it normally takes the servo out anyway. And you can see all this paint. I imagine I can just scrape that off because it's got all that. Yeah, the brake fluid's been eating away at the paint. There's not the end of the world because, well, it isn't the end of the world, it's just a car. But the servo that's in it is a reproduction aftermarket jobby. And the original ones were Lucas, dearly departed Lucas, and you can't get those anymore, except I've got a used one upstairs that I found, and they feel a lot better under the foot than these do, so it's an upgrade as well. Also the pedal box could do with the paint. That's the pedal box in there. Obviously where the car is fiberglass, you can't bolt your pedals into fiberglass because it flexes too much. The pedal box itself is metal. So the servo is bolted to the pedal box, clutch master cylinder is bolted to the pedal box, and also, looking down there, nope, it's not going to work. I can see a little trace, so I'm wondering if that's been leaking as well. Trying to see if the level's up or the level's down. Oh, it's right there, and it's clean. That's a good sign. Maybe that rust under there is just something that's been left over previously. That's good.
So, what I shall do, I'll show you first. Oh God, oh no. I might need a bonnet release cable added to the list. Oof. It's almost like it hasn't done anything for 2 years, isn't it? And when I got it, it had been sat up for years outside, so There we go. So what used to go here was basically, there was a fiberglass cover there. This is the clutch master cylinder. That doesn't feel amazing, again, because it's been sat around for ages. This hole here, this is where the brake fluid reservoir went. Underneath that was the master cylinder, and the servo is just about, you probably won't be able to see it, but it's just buried in there. Now obviously none of that stuff comes out through the top, because TVR. So basically it's all bolted into a metal pedal box, the bolts of which I've removed. So yeah, the plan will be to carry on removing that pedal box. That means I've got to disconnect all these pipes down here. Means I've got to drain the clutch fluid, and then take the steering column out and then extract the pedal box inside the cabin. The first thing to do, which is going to seem like a strange thing to do, but is to take the roof off, because it will give you more light, more access in the footwell. Oh god, that has been off for a while. Oh yeah, that's there we go. TVR say this is a carbon fibre roof, and it does look like it, doesn't it? Look, if you look up close, all you can see is an imp. I'll turn it at an angle. So there you can just about start seeing carbon fibre patterns. Is it balls carbon fibre? No way. Or if it is, it's the resin is like lead. That roof is absolutely screwed. Luckily I have another one of those. Right, I need to jack up the car. So let's get the wheel out. You have to be able to do this in a place. This isn't a how-to guide, by the way. This isn't what I do on customers' cars necessarily. This is just what I'm doing here now on my car. And yeah, it's not a. These weren't done up. Yeah, it's not a guide. Ooh, that's minging. So don't take this as instructions. So yeah, axle stands underneath because I'm responsible. What I'm going to do, I've got to disconnect the steering, take out this rod here, and then see if I can get the bolts out to remove the pedal box from the inside. So there's the business end. This is what we can see. So that bolt there, and there's another one over there, they're both covered in sealant to stop puddles getting into the cabin. Incidentally, you hear a lot about TVR chassis and corrosion and things like that. So this is the fiberglass body. They call them plastic, but it's fiberglass. And then that's your steel chassis there. And this is the outrigger. So the bit that comes out to the edge of the car here, to the edge of the body, this is the outrigger. And this is the bit that rusts first. The whole chassis rusts, but this is the bit that goes first. It's in here. It's not there. It's not underneath. It's right down inside there. And this one hasn't got any holes in it. It would if I shop blasted it. I'm sure it would probably let go. But yeah, the plan is I'll do this chassis. These are quite easy to do, to be honest. Quite time consuming, but not difficult. I'll do that at a later time. It's just to get it on the road for this year. Next year I'll do something with the car, but this year I just want to get it on the road, get it working. The last one's always seized up. Thanks, Clement. Oh God, how many times am I going to trip over that? Right, so I've got to get these connectors out the back for the Vauxhall Cavalier stalks. Don't knock them, there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, I say the car had no brakes, that's a lie. it had the handbrake. Although it was a TVR handbrake, so it had no brakes. My tripod has finally given up the ghost, so you're now resting on an engine. But yeah, these bolts are an absolute pig. For the avoidance of doubt, that's what I'm undoing. What's worse is, I thought more about it, and I thought, hang on, we were the last ones to put this in. Because we fitted this servo and master cylinder when it failed the last time. And it's a reoccurring theme with these cars. I don't know if it's down to lack of use or the quality of the replacement parts or what, but they don't last very long. And to that end, I've actually ordered some .5 silicone brake fluid for this. It's the first time I'm going to put some in. First time I'm going to use it in anything. I'm going to try running this on that, so it's a fit and forget scenario. Right, so that's all the little nuts out. So what I might try and do is just pull them out from the wheel arch side now. Although I don't know if I've got, oh God, I don't know if I've got a tripod. You go on, Clement? Hey, you're on, Clement. Right. I would just quite like to wind these, I had an Allen key jammed in the back of them. I'd quite like to wind these out if I can, because that'll just make it easier to manoeuvre it, seeing as I'm going to have to, oh, there you go. Oh God. I think stainless will be going back in this. People say, well, you shouldn't use stainless on a steering component or a brake component, and this is true, but said steering or brake component is mounted in fiberglass, so I think it's a bit of a moot point. So people will be watching this, I assume, and saying, you've got an SM, which, yes I do, why aren't you working on that? But I've got too many cars as it is, and the thing is, it's good for mental well-being to, if you've got a lot of projects on the go, to try and make progress on all of them. Don't let any of them stall, keep them all ticking over. But also, the more of them you've got actually on the road working, the better you're going to feel about it. So if I can get this one on the road, that's one less car that's sat here on the to-do list. I mean, it does have things on the to-do list, but if it can be used, if it works, then it moves up the list. It, you know, makes you feel better, makes you feel like you've achieved something. I think my engine mount's going to be on the to-do list as well, because that exhaust is sitting mighty close to that chassis. Really close to that chassis. Oh, joy. Right. See if I can get the column out. Yeah! And on the hour, the YouTube viewers saw that the column was out, and they saw that it was good. Right. Column out. So, what have I got left? Ow! It's sharp. Oh my God, that's rusty. Oh, screw it. Am I going to cut the cable? Yeah. Can I get to it from that end? Ah! Basically, the pedal has a slot in the top of it, which I'll show you all this. In fact, I've actually got another pedal box. Hang on. So here is a pedal box from a Chimaera, which is what I'm taking out, this whole thing, and the servo bolts on the back of it here. Here's the clutch master cylinder. And yeah, so the throttle pedal rather, on this one's soldered, but if you look at the top of it, it's basically, oh, windy pops. It's like a slit cut in the pedal with a hole in it, and then this ferrule is put in there, crimped, and then this one's got solder in it. Some do, some don't. I think they're supposed to have solder in. Now, because I'm a numpty, I jacked the car up and made it sit at Thunderbird 2 takeoff angle before draining the clutch fluid, which means when I take this out, it's going to go spilly. It's actually in quite good condition. So one-handed, because my tripod has died. Oh, look at that. Need to empty this. There we go. Oop. Don't spill on paint. Whew. There we go. And then all in one hand, look. All in one take. And then back again. As you do. And then what I'll do is I'll connect a drain up to the bleed on the slave down there, and hopefully it will just gravity drain. Gotta be honest, I've seen better looking ones under here. You see it's a bit horrible up here. I've no doubt that if I took this body off and got this chassis shot blasted, which I will do eventually, that all of this would be, there'd be holes on the inside of this. There won't be any at the moment, but to be honest with you though, I mean, you've got to remember this is a 1995 car. And from that point of view, it's actually not bad. Along there, the main chassis rails, this one's not too bad, but it's an earlier colour. This one's a silver chassis, so the silver coatings tend to last longer than the later ones. The later ones are white, and they weren't as good. I don't know why. Neither does anyone who works at TVR. Done by the same people. Well, it was done by TVR. That appears to be gravity bleeding quite nicely. Fluid's a good colour actually. I mean, to be fair, we serviced this car quite a lot, so all the fluids are probably quite good. But I'm going to ditch this and replace this with silicone as well. Oh, last bolt. Why they fight so much? Oh, I'm never going to be able to get to this. I've got to hold it on the back. Why it hasn't got captive nuts on the bottom, I do not know. Nylock, bolt going through. How are you supposed to do it with one person? They're like, oh, get a friend to help. What if I haven't got any friends? Something is holding this up, but my work on the inside is done, I think. Oh, you're not coming out. It can't be because of the throttle pedal. Oh, the manifold. No. The thing with all the pipes in it. Damn it, I forgot about that. Oh, you muppet. There's an alloy boss in the inner wing, which I'm not even going to bother trying to film at the moment. And it's in the side of the thing, and all the pipes going in it, and the pipes are stopping the thing coming out because I forgot to take the pipes out. Which means I've got to get back up and clamber back over this string and go and get some more spanners. Yeah, I'm just going to pick this up when I've got it out, because it's like taking ages now. If you're ever feeling useless, remember that I, somebody who does this for a living, works on these cars for a living, broke however many fingernails trying to take the clevis pins out the back of these pedals from the brake and clutch master cylinders, or servo and clutch master cylinder, which of course were coming out connected to this anyway. I knew this. Why did I not twig? Ugh, it's dripping. I also knew that those pipes were going to be in the way, but I forgot that the bonnet cable goes through this hole. No, this hole. Yeah, this hole. I think. Yeah, this hole. That's a pain. So I had to take the bonnet cable apart. But it's out. And there is the servo, and that is... But the issue wasn't, I don't think, was the servo. I think the issue was the master cylinder. Oh God, no, that's not going to fit in there. Yeah, I've scratched it. Excellent. Yeah, I think the issue was the master cylinder that was fitted. I think they just corrode, and then you touch the brake pedal and it wrecks the seals and it all leaks out into the servo, so you don't get a puddle on the floor. You then start the engine draws vacuum on the servo and burns the fluid, and the engine runs like crap, which I think is what was happening, because it was running like crap. So I have a new master cylinder. I have another servo, a used one, but it's an original Lucas type. This is an aftermarket one. They work, and that's really all you can buy at the moment, but the pedal just doesn't feel quite... I think the servo's stronger than it needs to be. I did have ideas about fitting this servo and putting in some kind of restrictor in the vacuum line, but I ain't faffing about. That's a pig to do. So I'm just going to fit the... I'm going to clean that pedal box up, maybe give it a lick of paint in the shop blast. Get a new clutch master, because I'm there, and I'm going to put .5 in it, the silicon, not 5.1, it's .5 silicon fluid. So I might as well start with new everything. And you know, I have to flush the calipers out and things, because I'm not putting new calipers on it. And then, yeah, get all that back in and shove it all back in there. That'll be fun. And then, yeah, when I've done that, and I've got the brakes working, for the first time in however many years, because they haven't worked for a long time, I need to do the headlights and the roof. And then, I mean, there's a lot of things that are going to be wrong with it, just because it's set up, so I've noticed bushes and things hanging out of it underneath, but one step at a time. Let's just get it working, and then we can work on trying to improve it. Do you know, I might use that daily for a bit, because that's cheaper to run than the C6. I bet you any money that'll do 20 to the gallon, 20, 22 to the gallon, and the fuel that this runs on, although technically it's supposed to run on super, but it is just a 4 litre Rover V8. It's just the same as they put in a Discovery. It's, you know, it's not like one of the higher tuned ones, like the 4.3s or the 5 litres or anything. Even that, the cost in the fuel, the difference in the cost in fuel, and the fact that the C6 costs twice as much a year for road tax as this 4 litre V8, which kicks God knows what out the back. I do quite like it though. I think I'll get that on the road and then go and do some driving fun. Right, I'm going home.